What is something you did when you were younger that you are still facing the consequences of? Overspending. Got a credit card as soon as I turned 18. It had a limit of £5,000 and I was not financially responsible. Cut a long story short. More credit cards. Horrible cycle of debt. Had to dig myself out of it. I got out of debt at 32. Lived paycheck to paycheck for a while. I'm 37 now and this year is first year of my life I have savings. If anyone out there has crippling debt, don't feel hopeless. There's always a way out, even if it takes years. You can do it. Flew off a waterslide while goofing off. Landed on concrete. Left hip still hurts to sleep on 20-ish years later. It took at least 10 years before I told my mom what happened. Not stand up for myself enough. Catching up and learning it as an adult is embarrassing at times. Gave my legs for a stranger's life during a 16-car pileup. 8 years and 17 surgeries later, I can kinda walk again. My life is in complete shambles. I've gained 100 pounds, and I lost my career, a really fucking good one. Edit. Lots of questions for the story. Here it is. We were car number 3 of 16. Saw car 2 spinning before we got rear-ended. Saw car 2's driver ejected. He landed in the open road. When we crashed I jumped out, got to the body, and moved him. The car that would have ground him into paste ended up hitting me going about 55 miles per hour. I was airborne for about 38 feet before landing on another car. 38 non-union breaks, over 100 fractures, lost my left thumb, and my right anterior tibialis. I also tore all 4 rotator cuff muscles in my right shoulder. Was 2 years before they fixed the shoulder because the legs were really bad. Both of my femur and tibia have or had titanium rods in them that run the entire length of the bone. I've had 2 external fixators, remember Gattaca? On my left leg, one for 9 months, one for 6. I still can't run or jump at all, and I live in perpetual pain. Because I had so many surgeries, I also developed a dependence on opioids. The constipation was so bad that I needed another surgery on my asshole, to put it back together. Not getting enough work experience for my degree. Ran my credit into the ground because I was so sure I was going to kill myself by the time I was 22, so why not? Student loans. Not telling the truth of why I was depressed and how depressed I was. After finishing college, I stopped playing sports. I've always been a bit on the stockier side, but through high school and college I was very active in several team sports. Soccer, volleyball, floor hockey. So I had a lot of muscle on me too. I didn't do any kind of exercise, beyond just moving around for work plus walking my dog twice a day, for 12 long years. I grew fat, unhealthy, and in poor shape. I've been trying to work on that, but even when I could go to the gym I would be exhausted after 30 minutes of light exercise. I have hopes that I can at least be healthy, as I work to build up my endurance and tolerance for longer workouts. But I doubt I'll ever be in the shape I was when I was in my teens, early 20s. And it's entirely my fault too. I got lazy and I'll be paying for it for the rest of my life. I blew my credit. Still fixing that one. Nice job, me. When my parents separated while I was in high school, I moved out. I was 14, my sister was 15, and my brother was 12. Drugs, fighting, etc. I couldn't handle it anymore. But my siblings never moved out. A few years later. Mom's back, everyone's at home, it's a happy family with no room for me. Loud concerts, no earplugs. Never admitting an injury. Starved myself since I was about 12 because I wanted to be super thin, which absolutely destroyed my metabolism. Ironic. Let others' opinion matter over my own. It created havoc with my self-esteem and created anxiety. Whatever I achieved it seemed it was because I was lucky. Now I don't know who I am and what I could have been. Spent way too much time alone as a kid playing video games instead of socializing with friends. My social skills were stunted for many years, which made things much harder than they needed to be. I started working on a farm when I was 16, worked there for nearly 10 years. The way we sort of crouched over to pick herbs for 6 to 12 hours a day fucked up my spine. I have trouble standing for more than 10 minutes now. I also now understand why my grandmother, who worked on farms for more than 50 years, pops painkillers like candy. I got into the car of a couple that saw me walking home from school and offered me a ride home. Instead of driving me home, they took me to their house where they beat me for putting up a fight when they were about to assault me, and raped me. I'm still struggling alone mentally and don't trust anybody. Bad grades because of laziness. Overeat and eat poorly. Please, please, please teach and demonstrate nutrition and exercise to your kids. It is so fucking hard to defeat a lifetime of bad habits when you're in your adulthood and already feeling the effects of ill health from years of bad eating habits. And no, I don't just mean force them to eat their veggies, and thus just create a totally negative relationship with healthy food. You have to find ways to make their importance clear and introduce new ways of eating healthy. Don't just feed a kid whatever they want whenever they want. I see that so much and the end result is not good. I never studied. I didn't need to from elementary to high school. It was pretty easy for me, so I never studied. Now, I'm in college, and I am facing the consequences of that. I have no idea how to study effectively, and it's reflecting in my test scores. Edit. Thanks so much for all the advice, everyone. I'll take it all to heart. Slacking off in school. Not fully learning English until now. It's pretty hard ATM. Not making it a point to work on my social skills. I was a bit of a loner in school, really shy. Now I struggle to make conversation with coworkers without feeling immense levels of anxiety. Worry that without this skill I'll never really get ahead. F'ing up my credit. These bad remarks last a long time. Listening to my music on full blast. I'm 23 and I've lost nearly 40% of my total hearing. Dislocated both kneecaps 10 months apart. Knees will pop out and in every now and then, which hurts like a son of a bitch. Being super picky as a kid and still having to break the habit of avoiding certain foods because I don't like them, but honestly haven't even tried them. Not addressing my eating disorder, pica. Ruined my teeth and had to get veneers and crowns to cover my broken teeth. It makes me upset that I can't bite into anything with my front teeth. Used to stay up all night and watch TV with my dad circa 4 years old. Now I'm 28 and having extreme difficulties in life because I'm not able to stay on any kind of sleep schedule. Literally, probably getting fired in T-10 hours, but I don't even know if I'll be conscious for it. Lol, trying to kill myself. Swallowed a bunch of pills, and now I have respiratory problems. If I have a panic attack, it could potentially put me into a coma or do some serious damage anyways, so I'm being treated like Stanley from The Office after he had his heart attack. Got into drugs and alcohol too young. I believe it gave me all my mental issues and stunted my development. I think this is super common, even with just weed, but people are still in denial. Chose a low-pay, high-stress career. I was coerced into sexual activity in the summer between 2nd and 3rd grade. I'm still suffering from the trauma. I said no twice, but in the end I did it. I'm still dealing with the aftermath, many years later. Was racing my friend to school. Construction dudes left a pile of hard concrete in the new gravel parking. My friend tried to cut me off to stop me from passing him. I was going to trip him right into the thing, so I gave up beating him and I tried to slow down to save him and went chin first into the pile of solid concrete. Ran home screaming with a fucked up jaw. Doctors looked at it, sent me home. 37. My jaw is not normal, they didn't do x-rays. Parents were too young and dumb to sue. Thanks doctors. Had a drug problem. Got clean at 21, roughly 10 years ago. Looking to get a government engineering job, but the government has different ideas on it. It seems unlikely I will be able to get a security clearance. I don't want to complain though because I know plenty of other people who still have their drug problems. I know I'm just lucky to have been able to get on with my life. Anyway kids, I suggest going to therapy instead of doing drugs. Accidentally touching a girl's bum when I was 16. Her boyfriend decided to headbutt me for it, leading to breaking my nose. I am 36 now and am still suffering on a daily basis of the messed up pipework up there. My nose holes asterisk are closed up still. Asterisk, that's probably not the right word. Debt and drinking. I don't need to learn programming. I was wrong. A pretty dark one, but self-harm. Smoking COPD. Got pregnant at 15. Had to drop out of school. Got my GED, and focused on my kid. Almost 8 years later, I moved out of my parents' house and last month I married the love of my life. It's nice to finally be a parent without someone trying to parent me at the same time. Working on my second college degree now, and I have a job that I absolutely love, and life is getting better. I'll be 34 when she turns 18. My life will never be what I envisioned, but it's totally worth it. But holy shit has it been rough, only starting to get better the last few years. Use condoms, kids. Drug abuse. I wasn't even a hardcore addict, but I've noticed my memory sucks now. At least I still have my teeth. I listen to music way too fucking loudly. I'm 37 and I absolutely need hearing aids. I'm not deaf, but if there is even slight background noise, everything sounds incredibly muffled. Sometimes I have to ask people to repeat themselves 3 to 4 times. Not saving money from my teen jobs. I always felt my money was fun money, so I never learned to budget or save as I spent my money as quickly as I earned it. I am working on it now as an adult, but obviously with adult responsibilities, bills, and unexpected expenses it became more challenging than teen me thought to dig myself out of the financial hole. Teach your kids about finances. At 21 I didn't have any idea how credit cards or credit worked. Thought that credit card balances just reset every month to zero. I couldn't fathom how else people could rack up $30,000+ in credit card debt. I was pretty screwed when I maxed out my first credit card and then couldn't use it again the next month without paying the balance. I asked my mother if I could get tested for ADHD as I had looked up the symptoms and noticed that I checked a lot of the boxes. She said, "Ha ha ha honey, you don't have that." And I was like, she is probably right, and I never brought it up again. If I had pushed a little harder and explained the symptoms I had, maybe I wouldn't be suffering the consequences of going through high school with 2 undiagnosed learning disabilities, which have led to anxiety, depression, and a general, non-wavering feeling of existential worthlessness. Smiley face. Internet addiction. I didn't eat well in my childhood. Now, I'm just over underweight in contrast to BMI. And I am somewhat physically weak. Yesterday, I failed my military physical test. Just couldn't pull off them pull-ups after the mile. I jumped in a pile of leaves headfirst and hurt my neck. Still suffering the consequences. I also did long jump in high school and my knees hate me for it. I had a treehouse that was about 10 feet off the ground and I would regularly jump out of it. Being an idiot, I wouldn't brace myself when I landed because I thought I looked cooler doing it that way. Just straight up land on my feet without so much as bending my knees. Well, guess who's got shit knees before they've hit 30? My parents were never really that involved from ages 8 and up, so I resorted to hours of being on the computer as a kid. Now as an adult I find myself just sitting on my phone every day all day. Playing tag in the house. I was like 5, maybe 6 or 7. I'm 40 now for reference. And Chai's NG my cousin up the stairs full throttle in our house when someone swung open a door and I ran head first into the edge of the door so hard and fast I was instantly out and don't remember much after that except what my mother has told me. They thought I had severe brain damage from the amount of force my forehead kissed the door with. I woke up 13 hours later and have memory problems. I can't remember a lot of my childhood. Problem remembering other things. And a visible scar that's never gone away and a permanent indent in my skull from it. Apparently it was really bad. I joked about it one time until my mom gave me the mom look and said, "It's not funny. You were bleeding from your mouth, ears, eyes and nose and soaked 5 towels." Thank God I lived in Canada or the constant blood transfusions and hospital stay would have made me want severe brain damage. So yay, memory problems from being a dumb kid. ETA. Here, http://imager.com/gallery/x3uf8ud closing parenthesis is the scar for anyone that wants to see it. The indent in my skull is the full length of the scar. Drugs and alcohol in early teens, definitely. Going to a very expensive out-of-state college just to spite my parents and get away from them. My dad was offering me a $40 an hour part-time job, and a place to live for free to pay for my college. Instead I said, You don't want me to live my life the way I want to, then fuck off. I went to a college 2,000 miles away and took out a $140,000 student loan. Dental hygiene. I was prescribed Adderall for most of my teens. Later I was diagnosed as bipolar, which is under control now, but maybe if I wasn't up at night all the time and actually getting sleep, maybe it wouldn't have been such an intense manic episode. I am not debating whether or not it caused me to be bipolar. I was definitely going to develop it. Just that adding a stimulant to the mix definitely didn't help. I was obese as a kid. I lost the weight and got fit as I grew into adulthood. But no one really talks about how your body never fully bounces back. I'll always have just a bit too much extra flab on parts of my torso. My mom was forced to eat everything as a kid, so she didn't force us to eat things we didn't like, which resulted in me being a picky eater. I've made an effort to at least try to eat other things and found some stuff I love. I still struggle with fruits and vegetables. Love some of the tastes but hate the texture, and I end up heaving a little if it is squishy soft texture. Loved the wrong person eating habits, exercise habits. Not taking care of my teeth and not learning how to budget. Now I am broke with fucked teeth. Addiction to energy drinks. Used to drink 3 a day. I got a wake-up call when I found out a friend's pretty much died drinking those like they were water. I'm down to 1 every other day. Long distance running. Destroyed my knees. I'm in my early 20s looking at a total knee replacement surgery at it since I got some questions. From about 5th grade to 10th grade, one ran at least 2 miles 5 days a week year-round. I didn't let minor injuries heal, and just get running on it. I also have hypermobility, and so I'm more prone to injuries. I had my first knee surgery at 14 after a torn meniscus. My best advice is to give your body time to heal after twinging something. I'm 20 and both of my knees click and swell from daily walking. I sprained my ankle on a treadmill when I was 13 and I was too stubborn to let it heal properly. So now, nearly 15 years later, I can't walk until like 10 in the morning a couple times a month because my ankle is still a wee bit fucked. Not having a good posture. Arrested for weed possession in 1996. Denied entry to Canada in 2018. Thanks for watching. See you later.